Imagine this. Someone says something rude to you. Maybe it's a small comment, maybe it's something personal. But instantly, your mood changes. Your chest tightens, your mind starts replaying their words again and again, and suddenly you're thinking about what you should have said back. Now your entire day feels off because of one moment. But here's the strange thing. Another person hears the same comment and nothing happens. They don't overthink it, they don't react, they just move on like it never mattered. So what's the difference? Why does one person get angry while another stays completely calm? Most people believe anger comes from other people. They think, they made me angry or they disrespected me. And it feels true because the emotion shows up immediately. There's no delay. Something happens and boom, anger. But what if that's not actually how it works? What if anger doesn't come from what people do, but from how your mind interprets what they do? Your brain is constantly trying to make sense of everything around you. Every situation, every word, every action, it quickly assigns meaning to it. Not facts, meaning. Someone ignores your message. The fact is simple, they didn't reply. But your brain might instantly say, they don't respect me, or I'm not important. And that interpretation creates emotion. But imagine if your brain said something else. They're probably busy, or they'll reply later. Same situation, completely different feeling. So the event isn't creating the emotion, your interpretation is. And this is where everything starts to change. Think about a simple situation. You're driving, and someone suddenly cuts you off. Your body reacts immediately. You feel disrespected. Your heart rate increases. Maybe you even feel the urge to react back. But pause for a second. What actually happened? A car moved in front of you. That's it. Everything else, the anger, the frustration, the feeling of disrespect, came from the story your mind created in that moment. Your brain said, this person is careless or they disrespected me, and that thought triggered the emotion. But what if the driver didn't even see you? What if they were distracted, stressed, or dealing with something urgent? Suddenly, the same situation doesn't feel personal anymore. And that's the key. Your mind is not reacting to reality. It's reacting to the story it builds about reality. This happens everywhere in life. Two people get the same criticism at work. One thinks, they think I'm not good enough and feels angry and defensive. The other thinks, this is feedback, I can improve, and stays calm. Same words, different meaning, different emotional outcome. So the real difference isn't the situation, it's the way the mind processes it. Now here's where it gets deeper. Your brain is designed to protect you, not just physically but emotionally and socially. It wants you to feel respected, valued, and important. So anytime something threatens that, your brain reacts. It treats small social situations like big dangers. Someone ignores you, someone criticizes you, someone disagrees with you. Your brain sees it as a threat to your identity, and anger becomes a defense mechanism. But most of the time, there's no real danger. It's just your mind trying to protect an image of yourself. And that's why people get angry over small things. Not because those things actually matter that much, but because their ego feels attacked. Now think about someone who rarely gets angry. Not someone who suppresses emotions, but someone who genuinely stays calm. What's different about them? They're not constantly trying to protect their ego. They don't need everyone to agree with them. They don't need constant validation. They don't take everything personally. So when something happens, it doesn't hit them the same way. Nothing inside them feels threatened. And because of that, nothing reacts. Now here's something even more interesting. The things that trigger you the most usually point to something deeper. If someone calls you something you know isn't true, you don't care, you might even laugh. But if it touches an insecurity, it stays with you. It bothers you, it replays in your mind, it turns into anger. That means anger is often just a surface reaction. Underneath it, there's insecurity, fear, or doubt. So trying to just not get angry doesn't really work because you're trying to control the symptom, not the cause. The real shift happens when you start observing your thoughts instead of instantly believing them. Next time something triggers you, pause for a second. Ask yourself, what story is my mind creating right now? That one question creates distance, and that distance gives you control. Because once you see the story, you realize it's just one possible interpretation, not the absolute truth. And when you stop treating your thoughts as facts, they lose their power over you. Another powerful shift is realizing that not everything people do has anything to do with you. People act based on their own emotions, their own stress, their own mindset. If someone is rude, it usually says more about their mood than your worth. If someone ignores you, it often has more to do with their situation than your importance. But your mind makes everything personal. It puts you at the center of every situation, and that's what creates unnecessary anger. The moment you stop making everything about you, things start to feel lighter. You stop carrying emotional weight that was never yours to begin with. There's also something important about your first reaction. Your first thought is automatic. It's fast, emotional, and often biased, but it's not always true. You don't have to believe it. Instead of reacting instantly, you can pause and ask yourself, is there another way to see this? That small pause can completely change your response. Because now you're not reacting blindly, you're choosing consciously. Over time, this becomes a habit, and that habit changes how you experience life. You also start noticing your triggers. Maybe it's disrespect, maybe it's being ignored, maybe it's criticism. Each trigger is like a signal. It shows you where something inside you needs attention. And when you understand your triggers, they stop controlling you. Another powerful idea is this: not everything deserves your reaction. Not every comment needs a response. Not every situation needs to be corrected. Not every person needs to be proven wrong. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is nothing. Because reacting to everything drains your energy, and protecting your peace becomes more important than winning every small moment. You start choosing where to invest your emotions, and that's real control. Because at the end of the day, you can't control people. You can't control what they say, what they do, or how they behave. But you can control how you interpret it. And that's where your power is. Not in changing the world, but in changing your relationship with it. So maybe the goal isn't to never feel anger. That's not realistic. The goal is to understand it so well that it doesn't control you anymore. Because once you see how your mind creates anger, you stop being trapped by it. You stop reacting to every small thing. You stop carrying unnecessary emotional weight. And you start experiencing something most people don't: a quiet kind of control. A calmness that doesn't depend on other people. A mindset that stays steady even when the world isn't. And that's when life starts to feel different. Not because people changed, but because you did.